What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Chill Crew review for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. Your host Homer here, and today joining us in our circle is good old Roger.
Hello, Homer. How's it going?
And this is a very special episode because this is the first time we've ever reviewed a sequel to a movie we've reviewed previously.
Oh yeah, towards the last Turtle Abomination back in 2014.
Yeah.
I remember it clearly.
Feeling old yet, Roger?
Oh yeah, I am actually. God.
Me and Roger are huge Turtle fans, and going in, I was very mixed from the first one. And I gotta say, we got a pretty mixed movie overall, but let's start with the pros.
Personally, was one of the new characters that they introduced in this one was Baxter Stockman.
Dude,
I really
I'm glad
wanted
you
to
got
see the
that.
adaptation.
Baxter Stockman made the movie for me. Like, they hit comedic gold with him, dude.
In a way, he sort of reminded me a lot of like Neil deGrasse Tyson. He kind of looked like him in some way, but they really got like the persona of just like a really curious and just dorky guy hanging around with bullies basically that really don't appreciate his work, but he kind of like wants to get their attention. I really like that aspect of him. Brought like a little bit more playfulness, I guess, in a very dark or shady organization, which I kind of liked.
He was honestly my favorite character besides the Turtles, who I felt like was a lot more fleshed out this time around.
Yeah, or in terms of the villains, quote unquote, that we had here, he was one of the more fleshed out ones.
He was definitely my favorite villain. But like I was saying about the Turtles, we finally get to know their personality a little bit this time around. First one, they focused so much on the humans, but they learned from their mistake here, because we got a lot of turtle love. And their storyline was actually the better part of the movie. Like, once they get to their storyline about wanting to be human, that's when the movie turns around for me.
But sadly, that's like halfway through the movie. Like, the first half is just getting to that part, and then after that, it's pretty much a little bit more smoother sailing. You get a lot more human characteristics.
Which is so rare, because normally we say, like, the beginning of the movie was good and the ending sucked, but this time the beginning of the movie sucked, but the ending got better.
Yeah,
which is weird.
And even though...
I should say the middle got better, then the ending was just like,
yeah, exactly. A little bit indifferent, but didn't really ruin anything.
Like we were saying, very mixed.
Not only were the Turtles really kind of fleshed out, but I also thought that Megan Fox, April O'Neil, was a lot better compared to the first one. I think mostly because the studio was a little bit afraid to give her a lot of lines, because everyone was just not getting Megan Fox a chance, trying to have the spotlight or trying to be the character that she's trying to play as, and they definitely gave her a lot more screen time and a lot more reason to be there. She was actually kind of cool, I would say. I mean, what was the key to the city guy that was in the first movie, the cameraman?
Yeah, Will Arnett.
Will Arnett, yeah. I didn't expect him to come back, and
he played a pretty big role, and he was kind of funny in this one, unlike the first one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, in terms of when you have Will Arnett, Megan Fox, you know, since he used to be her own cameraman, now he's like this big superhero, like stud guy.
Yeah, because he's taking credit for the Turtles from the first one.
It was
so
just
he's viewed as a hero. It's pretty funny.
And of course, like, Megan Fox and the Turtles are the only ones that know of, you know, who really saved the city, and so when she's just around him, it's really cool to see, like, you know, her really wearing the pants around him and like really busting his balls, like threatening, like, oh, I will tell you everything and bring this key to the city with you. I need to discuss something to you in a private matter and stuff like that. Indeed. It just really showed the assertiveness of Megan Fox and her character, and I really did like that.
And then my final pro, which will lead into our cons, is that Krang was barely featured in this movie. That's a pro.
And
the reason that's the reason that's a pro is because Krang was the biggest con in this movie for me. As soon as he appeared on screen, I literally wanted to leave. They just bastardized him so much. I get his voice was weird before, but now it's like a dopey guy trying to do like a dumb dog voice or something. I couldn't stand what they did to Krang in this one.
Not only just Krang, but Shredder too. Shredder was just basically throughout the whole movie pucking his lips and pouting most of the time and having a very brooding face. Like, even when he escapes from prison. No, once he gets teleported to another dimension and meets Krang for
with
the
shortest exposition
ever. He just pouts. He's like this, what are you? Oh, you're gonna give me this 2-minute exposition dialogue that happens super fucking fast. And then Krang just releases him. He just goes back to Earth. He was just there for a 2-minute exposition and then just leaves, and then that's it. That's all you see from Krang until the very end.
Which I'm actually glad for.
Yeah, and you think, like, I would be glad for it too, because I didn't really like Krang when they first show him, but then you just see the same Shredder just not being his normal 1990 TMNT self, just whiny bitch.
If it wasn't for Baxter Stockman, I almost forgot to mention my pros, Bebop and Rocksteady. I really like them because they kind of guilty pleasure for me, because the actors who played them was one, Sheamus the wrestler, which I thought was ridiculous. And the other one was Stevie Carnarvon's dad from Malcolm in the Middle. And they're playing like these thug criminal people, and I just thought it was hilarious. So they saved the movie for me, villain point of view, but Shredder and Krang, they just dropped the ball.
Not only did like Bebop and Rocksteady have like that like 90s look to them, especially for Bebop with the mohawk and everything, but they also have that silliness dialogue that you see in a 90s movie, like, my man. They say that so 10 times to each other throughout the film. I'm not even bullshitting you. My man. They had to tell us how big friends they are by saying my man at the end of every fucking sentence. Like you said, it was a guilty pleasure because every time we saw him, we were like, it's kind of cheesy, but it's kind of funny at the same time, and it's kind of nostalgic, so okay.
And I really like the lighthearted feel, but there's lazy writing at times for certain things. Like we were saying, short exposition. We have Megan Fox taking on a ninja lady at the end. What?
Oh, and not forget the few fart jokes from Bebop and Rocksteady. Oh,
yeah. Which, actually, before going in the movie, I was like, I'm glad they didn't go fart jokes at the first one.
Yeah, exactly. And at the very end, oh, boy, you had me going there, buddy. I thought you were going to be smart.
Yeah, right.
But they did a fart joke.
Luckily, they didn't rely too heavily on the fart jokes, because there was a lot of humor that was okay, but nothing too, like, knee-slapping.
Yeah, no, it was only, like, something that I chuckled in my head, but it wasn't, like, worthy
just kinda, like,
of laughing
silly,
out loud. Yeah, exactly.
Overall, the action wasn't too memorable at all.
Bebop, Rocksteady versus the Turtles, there was nothing memorable about those fights. All I remember seeing is, like, Rocksteady, like, brushing off an attack from Leo and pushes him into a ravine or a river or something, and that's it.
And for the ending fight, I was hoping for a more intimate battle between Shredder and the Turtles, like from the 90s adaptation.
Yeah.
But instead, at the end, we get another Transformers-esque battle with Krang's body.
Yeah, spinning his arms around, kind of like General Grievous in Episode 3, trying to be intimidating.
The action was one of the weakest parts of this movie.
What'd you think of Casey Jones?
I thought he was like, he was just kind of there for me. Like, I thought it was kind of cheesy how his dreams was to become a detective. Yeah, which was never touched on in Turtles before.
I know, it never touched on at all. Not only, like, is he a correctional security officer in this movie.
I will be a detective.
Yeah, at the end of a botched mission, detective, I will be a detective like you someday, I promise.
Yeah, and then like Bebop and Rocksteady escape on his watch, so he gets obsessed with capturing him or something.
And only them, not Shredder, just Bebop, Rocksteady personally. It was definitely the most fleshed out Casey Jones we've had, but I don't know.
Dude, personally,
is that like a bad thing? Because I mean, compared to like the '90s one, because he just sort of like we know enough of Casey Jones. We don't know too much. We really don't even care.
Personally, I prefer the '90s one, but this one didn't like offend me like Krang did.
Yeah, he only just played off as a diversionary tactic.
Kind of like a Boy Scout kind of character.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of support most of it. He wasn't really in the battle as much as Casey Jones was in the 90s, you know, helping being the Foot Clan in April's apartment.
Well, I wish somehow they went back to the original 80s Casey Jones in the cartoon. Hey there, Lawbreaker. Oh my God. Like he's like a pedophile rapist serial killer.
Duke him with a hockey mask, basically.
They should have done that with him. Based off our unique marijuana scale, we're at the bottom of the bottom. We have resin. That's the black residue you scrape after you smoke your bowl. It's the weakest high you can get. It's for people who hate themselves. Then we got mids. Your typical ditch weed gets you a good buzz. Definitely a good time killer. And for hardcore fans. So we got dank. Gets you nice and baked. Movie is exceptional. Most people will probably get their fix, but could still use some work. Then we got wax. That's pretty much a perfect score. Gets you guaranteed high. And you'll start seeing visions from Dimension X. And you're going to see Krang up in your grills.
Good God, not that Krang.
Yeah, God no. And based on that, I would probably just give this a solid mids. Just because there was plenty enough for me to like, but there was so many cringeworthy moments as well. I think it would serve a lot of younger audience, but for me personally, I wasn't too thrilled with it. I can't picture myself watching this too many times, but I think it improved over the first one.
I put the same grade. I actually put it down right here. The same grade just before we ever do a podcast, just to actually prove to myself that I made up this grade myself. But just by everything that you said, and based on how much I think the average moviegoer, do they need to see this? Should they see this if they don't know too much about TMNT? No, they can skip out on it. But for people like us and maybe younger kids who just want to see another action movies, I guess. Yeah, I guess you might as well. But
and especially if you're a fan of the first one, I guess it's good time.
Yeah, this isn't a movie I would want like force Apollo to watch in order for him to like start liking TMNT.
Yeah,
or anything
definitely.
like
If you're new to the Turtles, check out the '90s one. It's the best one you could get.
Definitely one of the best, well-directed and well-compositioned one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just me, personally. I love the soundtrack.
I agree. But before we end the show, considering this did pretty well in the box office, we're probably going to get a third one. Where do you want them to go, Roger, with third one?
Honestly, where can they really go other than, Space or Dimension X more? Because they kind of finished everything they need to do in New York City in terms of trying to get accepted by the people and whatnot.
Yeah.
That was one of the main things the
accepted
Turtles have to get into, or
Yeah.
get accepted by the people and whatnot. It's one of their main struggles.
Personally, I don't want them to go to Dimension X. I want them to bring back the scale. No CGI Transformer-esque battle. I'd love to see Baxter Stockman be the main villain.
That would be
and
cool.
then have him bring in the Mousers, dude. That would be sick.
I was gonna say I didn't see my Mousers at all in this one.
So if the
that'd
third
be really
one's
cool.
based around Baxter Stockman and the Mousers, that's pretty much the only way you're going to get me into the theaters.
And he has Bebop and Rocksteady with him. I guess
that'd be fine. Just don't bring back Shredder and Krang to like the fourth one till you know what you're going to do with them.
I mean, you really right now can't bring Shredder back unless Krang comes back too, because he's kind of in the same boat as Krang right now.
So yeah, that'll do it for this week's review. Tomorrow we're going to be recording our podcast. That's where we keep you up to date with all movies and video games. And if you liked what you heard, comment, rate, and subscribe to keep up with all our videos. We're going to be reviewing Warcraft next week. Can't wait for that. And as always, stay lifted, my friends.
Have a good night, everyone, and may the force be with you.
Always.